struggling promoting the event?
That was that was such an awkward situation. The whole projector thing.
Why? What happened? What happened?
What happened?
A little bit closer.
Yeah, what happened was Zach and I met at Roosevelt's while I was having a listening party, and what it is I have these listening parties maybe once or twice a year, usually at Roosevelt's, and I essentially just rent out a PA system and play music by the artists that I'm bringing down to the valley. And it's an excuse to socialize and have a beer and listen to some new music and talk about some new music. And there's no cover, it's a totally free thing, it's a laid back thing. But in order to have people retain who was playing and know who was playing, I decided to get a projector so that it could project at least the song titles and the bands.
Yeah.
But what happened was the projector that I borrowed was overheating and just crashing on me, and it was just this very, very tough situation.
Considering that this was outside too,
yeah,
and getting dust all over the place. So what month was this?
It was like probably August, I think.
Yeah.
Like late August or something. So I mean, the South Texas heat was in full effect. Everything was sweaty. It was bad. I mean, it was fun for people, and I'm pretty sure people had fun watching me try and wrestle with this like blocky, overheating piece of metal and plastic. But
yeah, you want me to be honest? I had passed by Roosevelt's that the night of the listening party. I didn't go away or nothing, but I was driving down that street, leaving or going to the incubator, the old incubator, and that's specifically what I was looking for, to see if there were any flashing lights hitting the ceiling and stuff. Like, well, I guess you didn't go through with it after all.
No, it happened for about 45 minutes, and then it kind of tweetered out. And then there was a delay, and then it sputtered up alive again, and then it was just one of these like, let's just let it die. Yeah. And so we're gonna do something similar this coming Thursday with a Galaxy Fair listening party, where we're essentially gonna do the same thing, but specifically for artists playing the event that is Galaxy Fair.
Right.
And so we should have it more composed this time. So here's to crossing our fingers and stuff.
Now, I don't want to get, well, you look like you're...
Yeah.
you're closer to my question, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Some of the bands that you've recruited are internationally renowned. How did you get a hold of them, and how did you make the decisions to pick those specific bands and genres?
Well, a lot of it is part just me just being relentless with agents and managers and just constantly trying to get them for years and years and years. Cloud Nothings is an act that I've wanted since they were just basically a bedroom project about 3 years ago. I know that they had made the effort to come down. I don't know if they did through a different promoter, but I know that I didn't care. I still wanted to bring them down.
I know getting of Montreal was a big deal. That took you and George years just to get attention from them, and that was it. Yeah, it was a weird thing. Like, I'm a fan of Montreal. I'm not like a huge obsessive fan, but I do really like what they do. And they had reached out to me, and what happened is that agent, I had been reaching out to all these other bands outside of Montreal, like these great bands called Fly and some other bands that their agent works with, and he called me up one day and said, would you be interested in working this? And it was one of these things where I was actually on tour with the Young Maths, and we were like somewhere in Arkansas or something ridiculous in the middle of winter, and I was driving the van and the rest of the guys were asleep, so I like kind of pulled over on the shoulder and was like, wow, okay, okay, let's talk about this really quick. And so that solidified in that way. But with this time around, like with Mac DeMarco, he's out of Canada, Vancouver specifically. I've been following him since he came out with his first EP, and I just so happen to be blessed to work with his agent quite consistently, and so she had offered it to me, and I took it immediately without any question. And in fact, he was the guy who determined, not he himself, but booking him determined the whole day of the festival, because I'm just that big of a Mac DeMarco fan. That was his availability, and so that's when I said that I'd do it. Cloud Nothings was something that I'd been working on for years,
not 4 years, but for quite some time. And Las Robertas, they've been a band I've been a fan of for several years.
Yeah, some of these bands have been touring Europe, and they've come out of, like, Las Robertas are out of Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. And I know that some of the bands that have come by and played Cine El Rey for you, like Glass Candy, they were really happy to play here, and they didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah, Glass Candy is, like, they're such a weird group. And that's why I like them so much. And anytime a band is difficult to label, but is branded to appeal to a certain group of audience that doesn't like them specifically, I'm just really into. Like, they're this weird, like, EDM people try to like them, but they're too nerdy and quirky. But even then, like, the hipsters don't like them because they're too dancey. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you can't even say it. I don't even know what you would describe it as. It's just like dance music for nerds or something like that. But I had been a fan of Glass Candy for quite some time, and I was really happy that they were really excited about playing. Mm-hmm.
So far, a lot of these bands have had great reactions to coming down to the Valley, haven't they? And the response from the audience.
Yeah, for the most part. A lot of these bands are down to earth, and they may be big on a national scale of, like, independent artists, but they're still very much smaller artists, and so they're still very humble and down to earth people. I've only had maybe a couple of encounters in which, you know, some bands may be acting a little disappointed or distressed or diva-ish, you know, but even then that's rare. That's rare. And, you know, I guess I'm in a band myself, so I kind of know what to expect when you get out of a van and what you want and what you don't want to hear, and so I do my best day of to make sure that the bands are comfortable and well received and taken care of, like, that day. So.
What have you learned from your first show that you've thrown to now?
Oh man.
What's the massive difference? What's the massive, you know, change in experience that you've gained in this long period of time? Because how long has it been? How long have you been throwing shows?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't even remember I remember what my first show was independently under tigersblood.org. It was Airwaves, and it was in February of 2010. And that went down at Ambrosia. But
yep, the good old days.
The good old days of Ambrosia, and but I mean, really, I've been a musician myself and still am and do tour, and so it's not much different regardless of whether you're in a big band or not. If you're still cramming into a van with 4 other people after your show is over and the makeup's off and the glam's off and you're having to travel, if you're playing in the Valley, chances are you're having to travel 6 hours or 8 hours north somewhere, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and you probably traveled that far down just to get here. So regarding working with artists, I mean, much hasn't changed there. I still know how to take care of them when they get here and when they leave. It's more so tricks and things like that and tools I've learned about the industry, like just how to work like back-end percentages and things like that. That would be totally boring to explain on the air, and I don't really care to. But basically I've like lost a lot of money because of things that I didn't know. Oh. And tour managers have told me, like, you could have made so much money had you read the contract this way, or had you implemented this in your contract. And it's been like, wow, okay, so I'm still learning little tricks.
So
and
you've learned the legalese. That's pretty much
the
biggest thing you've learned.
It's been more so
from that time to now.
Exactly. I mean, I don't do this for the money per se, but I don't want to lose.
Right.
So,
of course, nobody's going to blame you for that.
Right. So that's definitely been a growing experience.
Right, if you guys are just joining us, we've got Mr. Patrick Garcia from tigersblood.org throwing Galaxy Fair this coming March 11th at 5 over at the historic, legendary, iconic Cine El Rey and at the Thirsty Monkey. There's going to be a lot of great bands out there. And we have a gift for you, actually.
Really?
Yes, we actually have a gift for you. It might take a little bit of time to draw up. Do you know where the file is?
Yeah, you just...
Where is it?
Exit off of that, and it should be the screen there. I had it
just
ready.
Minimize it. Where is it?
What screen are you on?
We're on the